Hi Taurus, welcome to your love reading for this week. I hope you're doing well. As always, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. All right, let's see what's coming through for Taurus this week. So we have the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Cups, Seven of Wands, Temperance, Ten of Swords, Five of Swords, Ten of Cups, King of Cups, and the Fool. Okay, so I'm going to go through each card, but I do kind of see a theme right away, just from my first impressions looking at this spread. And I feel like there might be some issues you need to take care of when it comes to your relationships this week. You know, I'm already seeing a confrontation coming through with the Seven of Wands. It feels like this is about someone who really needs to speak up to somebody. I feel like something is a little bit off in your relationships. For those of you who are already either married or have a significant other, the Five of Swords and the Seven of Wands are lined up together. So something strange is going on in your relationship, and I feel like some of you are aware of it. And it's time for you to stand up to your partner about something, maybe dishonesty or something that just isn't right. Okay, but let's start at the beginning with the Knight of Swords. So I feel like this week, this reading just kind of suggests that something has been building up in your relationships. And I'm especially getting that this is for those who are in committed relationships, though there are messages for singles too. But it feels like something is brewing and you're finally ready to take some kind of action. So the Knight of Swords is all about moving quickly, thinking fast, and seeking truth and honesty. And I kind of feel like there could be some dishonesty going on because the Five of Swords is here and you're finally ready to do something about it. Now the Queen of Cups is telling you that you deserve to be in a good place emotionally. And I'm getting the message that for some of you, you are in a good place right now with your self-love. You're finally starting to realize what's best for you. Like, no more nonsense, no more putting up with partners that come and go or only tell you half the truth. I feel like some of you are in a really good, stable emotional state. You're also highly intuitive and you just know that something is off. And you finally feel strong enough to call someone out on what's happening in your relationship that isn't fair to you. Because we have the Seven of Wands over here as the last card, and I feel like, you know, that's about a confrontation, and you're standing up to someone that you might be a little intimidated by. So I feel like for some of you, I don't know, you may be a bit afraid of your partner, or maybe you're afraid of losing your partner. I get a strong message that some of you don't want to lose this person because the heart of the reading is the Ten of Swords, which is all about an ending. So I feel like you don't want the relationship to end, and you might feel like in some way they are stronger than you or you have a weakness when it comes to them. But I feel like you've finally gotten into a good place because of the Queen of Cups. There's a lot of self-love, your self-esteem is high, you're very intuitive, and now you're not afraid to confront this partner. There's something that you want to bring up this week, an issue where you have to speak your truth. Now moving on to the middle row here, we have Temperance, the Ten of Swords, and the Five of Swords. So this gives us a bit more insight into what's going on. You know, there are kind of mixed messages because it's a general reading, but the Ten of Swords is at the heart of it, and that is an ending. It's an ending that you can't really work around this ending. Something just has to end. I'm getting that for some of you, it doesn't necessarily mean your relationship has to be over, period. It's not that. But I'm getting that something about the relationship has to end. Like I said, maybe someone is being dishonest or not being fair to you or bullying you. I don't know, but something definitely has to change. Something has to be put to rest. But you know, I feel we have a positive card here, and definitely a positive outcome is possible. I feel like, you know, with the Temperance card, which is all about self-restraint and moderation and forgiveness, I feel like things can be worked out. But again, only as long as you're speaking up for yourself. Notice how Temperance came up right after the Seven of Wands. So this is after you stand up for yourself, after you confront your partner about whatever is going on. Then you can be, you know, forgiving of your partner for whatever it is they've done to you. Or it could be the other way around. It could be that you know that you haven't been honest with your partner and now it's time to bring things up. But again, you know, with the Ten of Swords, something has to end. It has to. Like I said, it isn't necessarily the relationship, but it could be something going on within it, like someone lying or cheating or spending all your money, or something that's just not fair, especially because the Five of Swords is here. And that sometimes means that somebody's being sneaky or sabotaging things. There's a negative energy around the Five of Swords, and seeing that it's lined up with the Seven of Wands, it means that, whatever is going on, you can't get away with that. You know, whoever is doing it, it's time for that to come to an end. So I'm even getting that for some of you, it could be that there's a lot of negative thinking when it comes to your relationships, and that has to end. But for those of you in a situation where you're married or committed, I do see a happy ending down here with the Ten of Cups. And that means that you can still have that happy relationship, you can still have harmony. The Ten of Cups is about family and relationships and children. So I feel like it doesn't necessarily have to end, but some kind of behavior that isn't fair to you has to. And notice how the Ten of Cups is lined up with positive cards, while the challenging cards are on this other side. It's lined up with Temperance, which is about being forgiving and compassionate and not doing anything extreme. So for some of you, the advice may be to not just jump the gun and end your relationship. I feel like it can be worked out because the Ten of Cups is here. Not only that, but you also have the Fool, which is a new beginning, and it's lined up with that tough energy from the Seven of Wands and the Five of Swords. So I feel like even though you're going through something difficult this week, it's nothing that can't be worked out. Because the Fool means that you can start over. It is a new beginning, but it's a very light-hearted beginning. It's nothing, so notice what's going on here. Once someone takes action with the Knight of Swords, something unhealthy comes to an end with the Ten of Swords, and there's a new beginning with the Fool. And I'm getting the message that for some of you, it is about getting this unhealthy energy out of the relationship. So if you can put that to an end, a lot of you can move on into this lighthearted energy and have this happy home life. But for those of you where that change doesn't happen, it may be best to kind of like move on. You might find yourself moving in a different direction. So I know I've kind of focused this reading on couples, but I do want to go back and see what jumps out for singles. So I still kind of get a similar message. You know, I feel like you're ready, those who are single. You're in a good place with the Queen of Cups. You're feeling very intuitive when it comes to taking action. And I even get the message that you know something significant can happen for you this week. And you're not postponing your love life anymore. You're not being so protective of yourself. You're going out there, because the Knight of Swords is all about taking charge and acting fast. So I feel like you're in a good place with the Queen of Cups, feeling very intuitive, but I do feel like you're dealing with some issues from the past, and it's very similar to the message for couples because we have the Seven of Wands here and the Ten of Swords. But I feel like some of you may be confronting, those who are single, you may be confronting issues from the past. The Seven of Wands is a message concerning confronting someone. You may actually be confronting a person and like maybe getting something off your chest. It could be an ex, or someone that's interfering in your love life, or it could even just be yourself, where you've been holding yourself back. And then with the Temperance card, this is kind of telling me that this week your thinking regarding yourself and self-love is much more positive. You're being much more compassionate with yourself. There's not so much negative self-talk. Because I see that right here, especially for singles, this is negative self-talk. Because the Ten of Swords, you know, it is a painful card. And you may be focusing on issues from the past where you have been stabbed in the back by a partner and left hurt. And this reading is telling you that this week you have the potential to just pick yourself up and walk away. I do feel here that there's some negative energy. Maybe you want to confront someone from the past and finally say, why did you do this to me? There's negative energy coming from the Five of Swords, but it could also be self-defeating. It could be that you keep yourself from looking for a partner. This week you can miss out on something because something's happening for you down here with the Ten of Cups. This is telling you that there is a happy relationship that can come your way this week. This could be a life partner, because the Ten of Cups is not just a card about love, it is a card about family and children. So the energy is there for you to meet a life partner or a committed relationship. This could be a man who is a water sign, who's very loving, a good friend, trustworthy, loyal, everything you ever wanted. I'm kind of drawn to the fact that he's kind of perched up on like these rocks. I feel like this is someone that you would kind of idolize, because he seems like the perfect partner for you. And I see, like, you know, there's a new beginning, so you don't have to focus on these harsh energies from the past. I feel like there's an opportunity for a fresh start and a new beginning, but I feel like you have to be in a lighthearted energy. The Fool is all about a new beginning, but it's also a very youthful, innocent card. So if you're focusing on what so-and-so did to you in the past and your spirits are low, you can't bring in this relationship that is waiting for you. But I definitely feel like something could change for you this week. Okay, Taurus, I will end the reading here. I hope you enjoyed it, and much love and blessing. Bye-bye.